Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel. Sorry, I can't really smile right now. My name is Victoria and this is going to be the very first video that goes up. Since there have been so many holographic palettes releasing lately, there's going to be one by Huda Beauty, there's a new Wet n Wild one, there's the Anastasia one, and then the Kat Von D Alchemist palette, which is the one that I'm going to be using today. You can't really see it. I wanted to come up with this super cool holographic iridescent half skull with the Swarovski crystal teeth. I think it adds a really nice touch. And my eyes are super simple. I didn't film the eye portion because it's honestly just a classic smoky eye. And then I just patted 3 of the shades of the Alchemist palette on top. I did the blue one on my lid, the purple one on my lower lash line, and then the pink one on my inner corner. And that's basically it for the eyes. So if you're interested in doing something similar or want some, holographic inspiration for Halloween, then keep on watching. So to start, I'm going to be using a water activated paint by Ben Nye. And I'm going to be taking that on a small detail brush to just start mapping out the shape of the skull. You can use a picture for reference, but I'm actually just going to feel my face and see where my natural cheekbones are and jaw is so that I can get a better idea for where the hollows should be in the skull. What I really like about these water activated paints is that they're very long lasting, but they're also super easy to remove if you're not happy with the way it came out, like I did here. I just wiped it away with a baby wipe and then just went back, and it's just super easy and also blends really easily too. So now I'm just going back in with the white around the edges because I want to feather it inwards. So I'm just blending that out with my finger. You don't have to worry about it being very precise because we're going to go over it later with some color. Doing this also gives you a better idea for how the shape of the skull is actually going to be. At this point, I kind of realized I still wasn't 100% happy with the way the hollows looked for the cheeks, but that's okay because I'm going to go in later with black to correct it. And yes, I did get the paint in my hair, but that's another thing I really love about these is that they're really easy to wash out if you make a mess, which I usually do. So now I'm going in with more water activated paints. These are by Mehron. This is their Paradise palette in Basic 01. It's very well loved, clearly. I'm using the red, blue, yellow, and green shades, and I'm going to be mixing them in with the white to create pastel pink, blue, purple, and green shades. So here I'm mixing the red and the white in order to get this hot pink shade, and the placement of this doesn't have to be exactly where I'm putting it. I had just decided that I wanted to do the pink and the purple shades kind of on the outer portion of the bone structure, and then using the blue and the green on the inner portion. So now that I'm pretty happy with the pink portion, I'm going to be adding blue to the red and white mixture to make this lilac purple, and I'm just laying that closely to where I put the pink and then blending it out with my finger. If you accidentally add too much water to the paint like I did here, it kind of gets patchy, but that's okay. If that happens to you, just let it dry and then you can go back in and blend it later. So now I'm going in with blue and I'm adding this to any places I see that don't have color yet. I'm also going to be taking this in between the pink and the purple as a blending shade. And again, you don't have to do the color placement exactly like I did, but personally I feel like the blue gives the most iridescence. So I decided to put it on higher points of my face, like my chin, and I'm later going to put a little bit on my nose, and then I put it through the center of the cheeks. So now I mixed the green, yellow, and white shades to get a mint green color to fill in the rest. I don't know why on camera it's showing up pretty blue, but in person it was more mint green. And again, I'm just blending that all out with my finger. You actually don't have to put any of these colors on your nose because it's going to be covered in black, but I forgot. And you can basically just leave it as is, or you can be like me and just add more. I wanted to add a little bit more pink, a little bit more blue, and just kind of further blend everything together. It looks a little bit crazy right now, but once we go in with the iridescent shadows, it's really going to help everything blend together. Still blending. Still blending. I am such a perfectionist. This is why it takes me so long to do my makeup. So time for the fun part. I'm going to be taking the Kat Von D Alchemist Holographic palette. And this is truly where the magic happens. I'm going to be using all the shades in this palette and just packing them on heavily on top of the corresponding shades. So here I'm taking the shade Pink Opal and laying it on top of the hot pink, and you can see I was clearly very happy with the way it looked. You don't have to be precise about blending this at all because you really want the colors to kind of blend into each other, but just make sure to really pack on the color because you want it to be very iridescent. So now I'm dipping into the ultraviolet amethyst shade in the Alchemist palette and laying that on top of the lilac portion of the skull. I was really happy that I chose to do the pink and the purple together because as you can see they blended very nicely. After I was done using the violet shade, I went back in with the pink because I didn't feel like it was bright enough, and you know, you can never have too much highlight, right? And then I'm taking the blue sapphire shade and packing that on top of the blue portions. This is also a really good blending shade because it's almost a little bit neutral. So I just went ahead and put that all over as well and in between the different shades. And then lastly, I am taking the green shade on top of any spots that I missed. At this point, I was pretty happy with the way it looked, but I felt like it needed to be a little bit more blended. So I went back in again with each color and further packed on the highlight and blended it all out. So time to outline the structure. So I'm going to be taking the Paradise palette again and going in with the black shade. And I'm going to take that around the hollows of the cheeks where there's supposed to be empty space, and then also on the backs of the cheeks. I suggest really taking your time with this portion because if you accidentally mess up, it's going to be really hard to erase that and cover it again with the holographic shades. So just take your time, and also you want to gently feather in the black because you want it to be kind of a gradient from a very dark black into more of a gray shadow. It doesn't have to be perfectly blended though, because we're going to go in with shadows later. So I thought I was done with that side and I started going in with the other, but then I realized that they weren't even. So I'm just going to be constantly going back and forth and making sure that they're as symmetrical as possible because, like I said before, I'm a perfectionist. So now onto the nose. For this portion, I referenced a couple pictures on Pinterest, but you can honestly just do it as whatever way you want. I did like 2 little peaks and then blackened out the rest of my nose. I also realized halfway through that I still had my septum piercing in, so if you're like me, please take it out before. And then since this part is supposed to be hollow space, I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in as dark as possible with the black. And don't forget to get inside those nostrils, girl. And I'm just taking that black again in a couple different places just to deepen it up. And now I'm going in with my ViseArt, I don't know how to say it, neutral palette, and I'm taking the black and the gray shades just to really blend everything together. You want to make it as seamless as possible since it's supposed to mimic real shadows. Don't be like me and accidentally get some of your black shadow on the holographic portion because it's super hard to remove. I just kind of left it, but I was kind of annoyed. And again, I'm putting that black everywhere, even inside my nostrils. So now I'm going to start outlining the teeth. I am taking the black from the Mehron Paradise palette again and just lining up the bottom of the teeth, trying to make it as even as possible. When you're doing this part, you want to make sure to sweep the sides of your teeth upwards because that's how they naturally position in your mouth. And then I'm also filling in the inside of my mouth. And now again with the black, I am taking it and drawing out where I want the teeth to be, trying to make it again as even as possible and making sure that each side has the same amount. I had to count several times because I kept throwing myself off, but this part makes it a lot easier when you actually put the teeth on. And once you're done with the top, just gonna go ahead and do the same for the bottom. And since the teeth in the back are gonna be smaller than the ones in the front, I am drawing the lines a little bit lighter and then also making them not as long. So now I'm going back in with the white and I'm just filling in between the teeth. We are going to be placing the crystals on top, but this just makes it a little bit brighter. So same thing with the back teeth for this part. You want to make them a lot smaller, and then also, like I said, kind of swoop them upward, and that makes them look a lot more realistic. On the front teeth, I'm also bringing the white down just a little bit to kind of mimic roots for the teeth. So now I'm going in with black eyeshadow again in an angled brush, and I am just adding that to kind of the bottoms of the teeth. I made kind of like little X's, and it just helps define the teeth further and give them better shape. And I'm focusing most of the black shadows on the front teeth and feathering it backwards and not really doing any on the back teeth. So for the teeth, I bought these Swarovski crystals online, and the Spirit Gum I just got at the Halloween store. I bought the crystals on Amazon. I bought them in two different shapes. One is a fan shape that I plan on putting just on the bottom teeth and then also on the top center teeth. And then the raindrop shape is going to go near the back. The first time I did this part, I tried using eyelash glue to glue on the crystals and it didn't work at all. Spirit Gum is so easy to use, and I know it comes with a remover, but I don't find that I've ever had to use it. It just washes off with, I take off my makeup with coconut oil, and that usually works. And also what's great about it is you don't have to really wait for it to get tacky. Within like 5 seconds, you can apply the crystal and it'll stick. And I only bought actually 20 crystals, and I didn't realize that I was going to need more. So I had these other crystals that are Swarovski as well. I got them at Michael's, and they're kind of like a pearl color. They don't have the AB, which is the kind of like holographic coating on them, but I thought they were pretty cool and they worked. So I put those on the back teeth. And then afterwards, I just went back in with black underneath just to further define everything. So now, just with my LA Girl highlight concealer, I'm going to be putting that on the high points of my collarbones and then also a little bit on my neck. I'm also going to take the white in the middle of my neck to kind of draw out a few little pieces of your vertebrae, and blending that out with my finger as always. Now going back in with the ViseArt palette, I'm going to be taking the gray shade to just really contour out my collarbones. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love body contouring. I don't know what it is. So just take your time and really blend that out because you want it to be a natural contour. And I'm also going to be taking that same shade on a smaller brush and just going around my neck and also around the little columns that we drew with the white. And now back in with the Alchemist palette one more time. I'm going to be packing that on heavily on top of anywhere you put the highlight. I just use different shades for different portions in the center of my neck and then also on my collarbones. And then I'm also going to put some on my shoulders because why not? You can definitely tell that after this body contour, I was definitely feeling myself. I just feel like it just looks so good, no matter what look you're doing, but especially for this look. And this part is totally unnecessary, but I felt like it pulled the look together. I just put some black on the outer edges and contoured my ear with it, and then went over it again with different holographic colors. So I'm just adding a few finishing touches, a little bit more highlight. And then in a second, I'm going to be setting my face with my Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray for a bit more glow. And then we are finished. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking through the video with me. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I really hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Are you filming?
No. No. Your troubles will be miles away. I'm listening to Christmas music and it's not even Halloween. Does it?